Well, guys, I got to add something to that video. I apologize. I don't use a script. I forgot a couple things. First, Chris Howell, one of our other winners, that likes to send us stuff in on occasion, might be interested to people. There's a couple of screenshots in the list of steals after the video. One is showing a link to how to get your official copy FCC license. I don't know how to do links, but it's a link to an eham.net forum, which will talk you on how to do that. The second steal is an actual link to old Radio Shack catalogs, or old free downloads. So you might get a kick out of that, or show your kids that. Chris, appreciate it. Cody sent me something tonight. I wished I'd have been mentioning earlier, and Cody, I appreciate it. The QRC Ham Jumpstart program. Y'all need to go to the QRC's web page and look at that. On the front of say QRZ, let me pull it up here. QRZ Head Jumpstart program. Basically, you apply for it, get your license, they'll give you a free handheld through them and Gigaparts. It ends October 31st, but Cody sent me the link to that, and it's also be on here. So it'll be at the end of all this video stuff. Y'all, I appreciate it, and let me see if I can make this remote work right this time. And I apologize for my rambling and not being able to keep up with stuff. But Cody, Chris, thanks for the input. I appreciate it. This KB5 MIQ Big Boy. The rest of the video follows. 73. All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's KB5 MIQ Big Boy. And another ham radio cat. The grandkids cat. All right, we got a few subjects we're going to talk about today. We're going to cover a little bit on antennas, 10 meters, logbooks, and Elmering. I've found some few questions that were kind of interesting and some statements, so we're going to touch on those a little bit. This one really is right. I'm going to qualify one part of it, though, with what he says. Here's the most valuable free info you're ever going to get about being a ham and setting up a station. Your antenna system is the most important piece of your station, period, end of sentence. Take your time and put up the most efficient antenna system you can that fits and works on your property. And I 100% agree with that statement. I just want to qualify one part of it. That doesn't mean you have to put up the best multi-band Yagi, huge Yagi that has to be installed with a helicopter on top of Ron Tower and a 1.5 full legal limit kilowatt amp, everything else. All that means is you pick what works best for your station and your location. And if a properly cut, properly built wire dipole that you build out of scrap stuff you got around your house, and there's videos I've got in the past where I've showed how to do that, and you can get it up as high as you can in the air, and that will work. Don't let the fact that you don't have the best antenna system money can buy keeping you off the air. All that statement means is you put up the best antenna you can come up with to fit your situation. That includes your location, your pocketbook, and what part of what you're going to be operating on. Real simple. I got a logbook full of contacts made with nothing but a homemade wire dipole, up about 35 to 50 feet, depending on where I was at the time. So that's absolutely right, but that just means put up the best you can put up with and get it cut properly for the frequencies you're going to be operating on. Okay, now we're going to talk about 10 meters a little bit. If this will come up. That gum Facebook. All right, let's see if this will come up. All right, one more time. Let's see. All right. Here's a guy talking about a few years ago. He bought a realistic HTX 100 at a Hamfest, which is the old Radio Shack 10 meter mobile. It was cheap, I guess, due to the sunspot cycle. Took it home, hooked up a ham stick with a few radios on my roof, about 14 foot above the ground, nothing. Got some static, and occasional, barely intelligible voice coming through. Was half convinced the radio was broken. So I'm hearing that 10 meters is open. Went back to shack, fired it up, and heard, I think, Juliet Echo 1, Lima Echo Delta talking to another guy in 7 land. When their contact ended, I threw my call out, and Massa come back with a right back with a 5-9. His first ever contact on 10 meters, and it was a Japanese from Japan contact. 10's open right now, guys. You know, it's running wild, and this is why we always promote for you techs to get on 10 meters, because I still think after a while, if all you're limiting yourself with is a talkie and VHF, UHF stuff, it's going to get bored. So 10's rolling, get on there on 10 meters. Here's another guy. Yesterday I've received strong traffic on 28.3 to 28.5 single sideband. Could not transmit because operators were rag chewing. I live in Texas and was using a 10 meter hound stick. Okay, a lot of guys will rag chew on there. Just throw your call out, break in, they'll answer you. If you ever hear our group at night, please throw your call out. The band's been open here lately, and we're getting a lot of check-ins. I think it was Monday night or last Thursday night. Jeff and I had 6 check-ins from the West Coast, one right after another, all good 5-9 signals. We urge people to check in with us. That's what we're there for. We want people to check in with us. Just because somebody's rag chewing don't mean they won't talk to you. Just when you hear a break in the conversation, throw your call in there. I ain't seen anybody yet that wouldn't answer you. At the end of all of my videos, there's always going to be a schedule up for our 10 meter roundtable, so watch it, and you'll see that when it comes back. But if you hear somebody rag chewing, just throw your call in there. That's all you got to come up with. All right, here's another one. I'm considering logbook options. I'm a newbie with about 350 contacts in about 100 countries. 10 meter single sideband and FT8, not driven by awards. Is there a compelling case to move to the QRZ freebie logbook? Well, that gets back to what you want to do in running your shack the way you want to run it. Me, I still maintain a paper logbook. I have ever since I've been in the hobby. I use the QRZ free logbook. I do. I find it is helpful if I'm here for 2 different reasons. If I'm here at a DX station I want to contact and he's already in a QSO, I'll pull him up. And that way I know I see his QSL info. And if I'm going to try to make the contact with him, I'll just leave the page pulled up, initiate the contact. While I'm talking with him, I hit log right then, log it in, and go ahead and request a confirmation. And 99% of the time I'll get them like that. I still maintain a paper log. Also, like I said earlier on the roundtable, if we start getting a lot of check-ins at night, we try to take them as fast as we can get them because the band does drop out on us. Usually before we normally get off there anyway. I'll be pulling up their call sign and logging them right then and there as fast as I can while we're taking the check-ins, and I'll go back after the fact and catch my paper logbook up. Now, logbook of the world. I don't want to open a can of worms up here. I feel like I am after talking about grounding. Nothing wrong with logbook of the world. I've never used it. Now, I will say this. If you guys are interested in getting the DXCC certificates or the Worked All State certificates, or you're big contesters, a lot of times I'm thinking what I've read on ARRL, that's going to be the easiest way to send your logs in for certification. Now, I did notice ARRL will still take your logbook and paper cards for like WAS credit. If you want to send them in, that may take a while. I don't know how that would work, but Logbook of the World seems to be the universally accepted way of submitting for awards. So something to consider. I like the QRC logbook, and you may be able to use that log to submit it. You younger guys are a lot better on computers than I am, so you know more about that. Is it worth switching over to a Logbook of the World versus QRZ's free log or a paper log? That's a choice you're going to have to make. My opinion, if you're not an awards chaser, I'd stick with a paper log QRZ. But if you want to chase awards, Logbook of the World may be something to look at. Just another avenue of options we have in this hobby that you can use. So look at what works best for you and go from there. All right. This one I may step on some toes. I hope not. I hope I explain what this guy's saying. Hey, ham radio cat, come up here. Come on. I have a ham question or a general question for all you guys. Hey, there's old ham radio cat. Aaron, old buddy. Well, ham radio cat still hangs around. Let me see. Everybody wants to see you. I get comments about you all the time, cat. That's the original ham radio cat. Oh, now get down. Okay, I have a ham question or general question for all you guys. I was wondering why some older hams, older meaning people have been ham for a while, why they don't elmer like they did in the old days of ham radio. Why is it they always want to send you to a book or a site? Well, some of us don't learn that way. All right. That, I don't know how I can answer that really good. This is how I'm going to answer it. Yes, I promote books. Manuals, I give books away. In fact, when I hit 800, I'm at 741. We get a little closer to 800, I'm going to give another hardback ARRL handbook away. But I've never told anybody, A, go read a book, B, you should have learned that and you took your test or anything like that. Somebody sends me a question, I'm going to try to get them an answer. I try to. The reason that probably guys our age promote having a book on hand is for the fact you've always got the reference material readily available. And like I said on an earlier video about emergency communications, keeping the handbook, ARRL antenna book around may save you down the road if you're doing emergency work and the internet's down where you don't have access to quick information. Now, I know some hams, I've seen it on social media, you should have learned that when you took your test, or go read a book or something like that, get you this book and read it. Well, let me give you an example of the level of knowledge that's in our roundtable group that I urge you to send me questions, because if I can't answer it, I will bring it to the group. Take WD5HKV. He's not the oldest in the group. I am. He's about the second oldest, I think. But he's the oldest ham we got. Been a ham since a teenager. Done extensive antenna building all his life. Done a lot of kit building in the older days. Built HW101s and several other kits. Just real good general knowledge of ham radio and antennas, and he's helped all of us out. Cody, W5DLX, one of our younger members of the round table. Good operator, knows the newer radios probably better than me and Jeff do. Excellent with computer stuff. Cody bailed me out on a POTA deal the other day because I hadn't had sense enough to see. He showed me how to put on POTA what mode I really wanted to look for. All right. You got Adam, WW5AH. Been a ham a few years, does some of his own repair work, does a lot of his own antenna building. Good, knowledgeable ham. Tim's the youngest ham we got, the youngest as far as ham radio operator goes. Just got licensed last year. He's learning this hobby, but he's got extensive knowledge in rebuilding tube guitar amplifier amps and understands electronics real well. So if you send us a question, I'm going to try to get you an answer. Oh, and me, all I do is talk. My claim to fame is radio operating. I got that in the military and fire department and stuff like that. I'm a little knowledgeable on the rest of it, but talking is my claim to fame. But you send us a question, I'm going to try to get you an answer. And I'll never tell you to go read a book, and I'll never tell you should learn that. There's some people, that's just what they're going to tell you. And in social media, I can't say nothing else about it. Try to ignore those kind of answers and look for the right help with the right people. Ham clubs, good way to start. And like I said, on our schedule, on our 10-meter schedule page, I added my email on there. Of course, my email's on my QRZ page also. Well, guys, I've rattled enough for this week. Remember MTC in Paris, ham radio gear, lots of good Facebook pages for information. There's a Alabama Ham Fest that's coming up October 22nd. There'll be a advertisement on the back of here for it. I've got the schedule, the 10-meter schedule, my email on there. We get just a little closer to 800. We got another handbook we're going to give away. I appreciate everybody who subscribed to the channel. Spread the word about us any way you can. This is KB5 MIQ Big Boy 73. And I forgot to turn this dang remote on. Let me stop it like this.